Hi, I'm Councilman Michael Nowakowski, and welcome to Phoenix 2020, a clearer vision for the future of Phoenix. And we're right here in South Phoenix at South Phoenix Precinct, the police precinct, and we're going to be talking to Lieutenant Tovar about how it is to be a police officer. You see police officers on television and the movies and all kinds of stuff going on, but how is it to be a Phoenix PD?
Well, you know, to be a Phoenix police officer, and again, I speak for everyone that's here, including our precinct and including throughout the city of Phoenix, but it's always been a profession and a career that's so rewarding. It's one that you come out and you ask people, why do you want to be a police officer? Because I want to help, I want to make a difference. It sounds cliche-ish at times, but the fact is that when there's people that need us, we're here to serve. And you do get that self-fulfilling good feeling of knowing that you can help some people that need your assistance. And you want to make our community better.
You know, Lieutenant, you have family members that are police officers also, right?
Yes, sir, I do. Yes, sir, I do. I have actually a couple brothers that work here and another brother that works for Surprise Police Department. And we always talk about it. My father worked for the post office.
Right.
But, you know, growing up, you know, he instilled in us, along with my mom, you know, go out and help people, you know, do good things. We're not perfect, you know, but being able to work in the community, and I grew up in the community of Phoenix, so being an asset is a good part of fulfilling what my father and mother wanted as well.
You know, we just had a celebration called the Star Spangled Celebration, where we honored all the fallen police officers and firefighters. And one of the touching moments is to hear the testimonies from the family members. And what's so amazing is that you hear stories of, my dad was a coach for the baseball, football, soccer, basketball, that my dad was a pastor. And you know, police officers aren't just those individuals that put on this uniform, wear a gun, and protect and serve our community, but also public servants in many different ways. It's just amazing to hear the stories, because a lot of times you don't think police officers do those kind of things, right?
Oh, I think that's one of the things that's amazing. I've had the opportunity to go out and speak to youth groups and faith-based groups, and we talk about that. And one of the biggest things that I like to do is bring officers that work in the field. They come out and they talk about it, and we can kind of take down this uniform a little bit. You know, we're fathers, we're wives, we're husbands, we're everything that everybody else does. So the big thing is they're great contributors to the community. Coaches, like you mentioned, big brothers, big sisters, mentors. You know, you see things every day, and a lot of times the law enforcement profession doesn't get that type of recognition. And I don't really think the folks that work here really ask for it. It just happens. That's who they are. But it is great to see that. A lot of positive contributions to the community, and I'm proud to work with them.
You know, I'm proud of being the chair of the Public Safety Subcommittee, and all the men and women that put on that uniform, that risk their lives for us. And you know, you protect and serve, but you make our community safe. So really want to thank you, Lieutenant, for everything you do. And you know, we're recruiting right now individuals. So how can somebody sign up, or how can you, if you want to be a police officer, is there a website maybe we can go to?
Oh yes, you can go to the phoenix.gov and you can hit down the department with Phoenix Police Department. You can actually look up, it has a lot of information regarding the hiring process, the testing process, what are the requirements, a lot of information there. I know our Police Employment Services Bureau, right now we have our recruiting team that's out doing extraordinary efforts in-state, out-of-state, trying to recruit good men and women. Our major priority is to recruit from our own community, because that's the best.
No, absolutely.
You know, we have a very diverse population in Phoenix, and we want to hit that population. But it's one of those things where you look at, you know, our members of the department are our best recruiters. We go out on calls and talk to people, and all of a sudden you get a little feeling and a vibe, and they kind of look, and you're like, hey, how you doing?
Right.
Strike up a conversation. It's one of those things now, the young men and women that work today, they're much more aware about what's going on in their environment, and that might be due to social media, technology changes, but it also, we're using those assets as well. And one of the best things to do is do what we're doing now, communicate.
No, absolutely. And it's really a servant leader. I mean, it's a police officer goes out there and helps people in the most crucial times of their lives. So really want to thank you, you know, and we have something in common, St. Mary's, right?
Went to St. Mary's High School, that's it. That's
100 years anniversary coming up.
It's coming up, yeah, that's a great thing. There's a lot of men and the women that work here, and including our fire department brothers and sisters are out there as well. But yes, if I get a chance, just to all the men and the women that work in our department, it's a pleasure, it's an honor for us to serve as well. And I'm just one representative speaking for them. But the bottom line of it is we enjoy what we do. We try to do the best that we can, and we're here to serve. So thank you for the recognition for that.
Well, thank you so much. And if you have a chance to drive down Baseline Road about 35th to 51st, we have a Heroes Lane with all the fallen police officers and firefighters, and down Washington from about 7th Avenue to 15th Avenue. So come out and visit all those individuals. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to do a ride along. So let's go check out what Lieutenant does all day, driving around, and let's see what he does, right? We always want to see what a police does.
This gives us an idea, for me, of how many calls we have holding. So these are calls that are actually holding in our area right now. We prioritize calls from 1s to 3s.
Right.
Priority 1 being the highest priority of the call. This is going to be a call that we are looking for armed robbery suspect.
Oh.
So an armed robbery suspect that's been committing some armed robberies within our precinct and adjacent precincts, possibly. We may have him located in a particular residence here. So we were actually working what we would basically a barricade. See, the precinct doesn't stop.
Right.
We've got another fight call that came out near 38th and Baseline. We've got a 2-man unit responding to that. A supervisor is monitoring that hot call. So within this perimeter to the west is the subject that we are looking for. What we're trying to do is keep a proper containment, right? Make sure that, if there's any avenue of egress or escape, that we can contain that. But in order for us to do the containment aspect, if somebody's riding around, maybe possibly with a weapon, then you'll see more officers coming around and making sure that we're telling people stay inside. The air unit assists us with that as well. They'll fly over sometimes and just say, stay in your homes, right? And if you have any contact, call 911 and then we'll stop out. But again, what they're actively doing right now is just ensuring that containment. You can see there's alleys. The city is filled with alleys, right? So our containment is always taken into account for alley escape and looking around and making sure that we have good eyes on those avenues. This particular squad that's working the daytime today has familiar knowledge with this particular suspect. So they've been working it, and that's part of being proactive, right? Trying to find out, identify people that are being a nuisance to the community, and let's see if we can get them off the street. You can see a lot of residents that are driving around too, kind of like, what's going on in my neighborhood?
Right, exactly.
And that's why I say, that's what makes it more incumbent upon us to explain ourselves after the action.
Right.
Let them know after the action everything is good. We're not looking for somebody. We're contained now. Thank you for your cooperation. We can try to do that as well. Just let people know what we're doing.
So if you see this in your neighborhood, what should you do as a...
If you see this in your neighborhood and you see officers that are either going to be nearby, it is perfectly acceptable to come up and ask them what is going on. There is nothing wrong with that, because part of that is we know that the community is another asset for us. They're going to be able to tell their neighbor and go, hey, don't go out and do this, or don't go out there, don't let the kids out right now because they're looking for somebody. That's one thing. That's a short-term thing. But the other one is if you see something, call us up. Obviously, if you see somebody, we're here, and you see somebody running and jumping into a fence, call us.
Cover the males outside, inside. No one for contact at 1511.
Okay, so here's a good call that we're going to be going on here just for what goes on an everyday thing here in Phoenix. So we're getting a call of going on a family fight. This is the key, though, of what police officers do every day that can kind of get misconstrued.
Right.
Because we go to the house, we have a legitimate reason to be here knocking on your door. However, you immediately respond with, I didn't call you, I don't need you here, I don't want you here.
Right.
But yet we have an obligation.
So if a neighbor calls, you still got to check it out, right?
If a neighbor calls, we're going to go and check it out. Okay, so I want to keep a little bit more eye on him, but what happened was you had somebody here in the house that essentially didn't want to really open the door for us or open the window, but my partner saw the door move.
Right.
So that's like there's somebody here.
Right.
So we knocked a little bit more. We're getting a little more information. She's very hesitant to let us in the house, but she claims that her and her husband got into an argument and then we left. There's no physical injury that we can clearly see on her or anything like that, but she's more concerned about, because the call does say a neighbor called. So what she's concerned about, again, is just some of the things involving stigma
Right.
of having us here and talking to the police. She came to the door. She's the one we talked to. We're looking for injuries. We're looking for anything else. Is she crying? Is she all those other things? She's actually got curlers in her hair, put makeup on, and she's like, no, he laughed. We got into a verbal, and he has done this before, and I have done this before, but she laughed. So the bottom line is making sure that at this point she's okay. There's no children involved or anything that we can see.
Right.
And that's where we're at. These are the types of calls that sometimes can envelop into something else, or it's a simple call of, hey, me and my wife were just in the backyard, swimming in the pool, and I picked her up and threw her in the water, and she screamed. We were playing volleyball with the kids. We were, there's a lot of different things. So, and then sometimes it does turn out to be a situation of domestic violence.
Hey, Lieutenant, thank you. So now we know what a day as a lieutenant is in South Precinct. We've seen different things, and you're not just a police officer, but you're also a counselor and a peace officer and trying to bring peace and domestic violence and all kinds of stuff that goes on. So just really want to thank you for not only being a police officer, but a role model for so many people out there. And so many young officers out there.
Yes.
Too.
Yes, we did see young officers. And again, on behalf of all the men and women here at South Mountain Phoenix Precinct and also throughout the city, thank you also for giving us an opportunity to see that so that they could see, what these men and women go on every day. Again, they're doing a great job for us, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, thank you. And that's it for Phoenix 2020, a clear vision for the future of Phoenix. And if you want to be one of the few and the proud that put on that uniform to protect and to serve the city of Phoenix, our neighborhoods, our families, you can become a police officer. Just look up the website and become one of the finest in Phoenix. Thank you.